Hi there, Jeff here from the Wetsuit Centre, talking to you today about the Dawn Patrol range of wetsuits for winter 2019 into 2020, and then the same for summer 2020 as well, because they are basically the same, just a bit thinner. So the Dawn Patrol series has been going for quite some time. And this year took a bit of a big overhaul through the winter, through fall 2019. Because essentially you had two suits before. You had the Dawn Patrol, which was kind of like a mid-range suit and was built to sort of have a combination of balance between warmth and flexibility and sit around the sort of £200 mark, just over. Then you had a hooded option and so forth. And then for sort of like a slightly cheaper suit, stripped down, so make it more affordable and perhaps a little bit more flexible, they had the Agrolite. And basically splitting the suit like this, I think it confused some people and it would just sort of muddled the range a little bit. And so they decided to then go into the Dawn Patrol, just sort of basically break the Dawn Patrol into two. So then you had the Dawn Patrol Performance, which is what Liam's wearing. So that is kind of like the performance suit, so they didn't need the Agrolite anymore. So it's the Dawn Patrol Performance, and then in the background, which I'll grab you for in a second, is the Dawn Patrol Warmth. And essentially you can really sort of gauge where they're going with this from the name. But it does mean that you have got a suit which is a bit more stripped down, which is the Performance, and it is a lot more affordable as well. And then the Warmth, so if you really sort of value having thermal lining and taping, that kind of stuff, there is a Dawn Patrol for you there as well. So one thing I would say about the Dawn Patrol from last year as well is the quality. It was nowhere near as good as it is now. So basically what they've done, Rip Curl, is they've moved the production from one factory to the same factory where they do the flash bombs and that kind of thing. So the quality of neoprene, the finish on the suit, the stitching, all that kind of thing is back to what it used to be. It's really, really good. And you can sort of see that when you pick up the suit. Value for money is really good and where it should be from a Rip Curl wetsuit. So if we're talking about the, first and foremost, the Performance. So the Performance is available in 3.2, 4.3, and then you've got the 5.3 as well. Rip Curl always, that's basically the thickness of the suit. So you've got 5mm thickness on the lower body, and with the 4mm, it's the 4mm on the lower body as well. And then you've got 3mm on the upper body and around the arms and the shoulders around here. And basically, they're pretty much one of the only manufacturers amongst the big sort of wetsuit players that really go for the 3mm on the upper body. A lot of the other manufacturers are a 4mm to really sort of put the onus on warmth. Whereas Rip Curl sort of take the standpoint that as long as there's 5mm on the body and your core is staying warm, it's much more value to have 3mm in the upper body. So to give you that extra flexibility in the upper body and shoulders, especially when you're surfing, catching lots of waves, moving around a lot in the water, there's minimised restriction. And what they do is they go to 3mm on the upper body in the sort of Rip Curl range, and they've stuck with that for quite a few years. So for people that really value flexibility, then that's obviously a winner straight away. So if I grab the little technical cam that we've got here, essentially this is everything you're looking at with the this is here's Liam. Don't let that bother you or put you off. Basically, you've got the sort of principles from the Agrolite, basically, which was minimal seams. So if we run through the suit, so you've got hardly any seams, one big piece of neoprene through the whole center of the suit. And that is E5 neoprene. So the E5 neoprene from seasons gone by was the most flexible neoprene they do. They've now obviously gone up to the E6, but the E5 neoprene is super, super stretchy the whole way through. Okay, you've got minimal seams on the suit, and any seams that you have got on the suit are strategically placed or strategically shaped to minimize restriction. So you've got no seams over the shoulder or under the shoulder to you shove your arm up in there. So seamless paddle zones, basically, and what that does is means there's less restriction. So less seams, less restriction. Big panels of neoprene, unbroken up by the chest panel here, because there's no thermal lining in the suit. Basically, you don't need a chest panel on the suit to sort of again create more seams and more restriction. The whole suit from top to bottom is E5, and you've got that chest entry system as well. Slightly different this year. It's more of a sort of diagonal zip, which allows the sort of middle part of the zip to dip more. And what that does is just again gives more range of movement in the chest panel. So easier to get on and off, but also sort of better when you're moving in the water. The Rip Curl zips from out to in, so you've got to catch the little teeth on there, and basically then that zips inwards. Not the ideal. It's better if it's out, it's basically from in to out, so maybe a bit of a down point, and when your hands are sort of fiddling around in the cold with a little zip. But again, that does keep the cost down, so it makes the suit more affordable. So you win bonuses and pros and cons basically. If you flip round, have a little look. Single line collar around the neck as well, so it creates a good seal and basically feels nice when you're sort of putting the suit on. It's less sort of strangly, if that's a word, than the double line collars that you get with some O'Neill suits. So that's quite a nice bonus for people that don't like too much restriction around the neck. The neoprene itself with the chest entry is sewn over the top of the suit, and obviously any water that comes into the suit then is drained out through like these drain holes and everything. Okay, now moving further down on the suit, you turn back round, Liam, and you've got the Duraflex knee pads on the knee, which is just like a standard material that most of them use these days, which is really robust and stops any sort of like wear and tear on the knees. So if you duck dive with your knees, or basically if you're drop kneeing on a bodyboard or anything like that, there's going to be less sort of wear and tear on the knee. So as I said before, the whole suit is essentially, let me turn that off. The whole suit is essentially the E5 neoprene, which is a super stretch neoprene. So there's loads of air bubbles within the neoprene, giving you maximum amount of insulation, but also flexibility within the suit. So it feels great when it's on. Would you agree?
Yeah, very comfortable. Lots of movement on there, so
that's
very nice suit to put on.
Key things here. So in the coldest of water, if you're very hardy, then it's still a good suit to go for. But this is probably for more people that maybe where budget is more important, or if they're surfing somewhere that's not quite as cold, or maybe they just don't feel the cold as much, or it's for sort of quick surf for sort of 45 minutes to an hour. This suit's ideal. Not a lot to show you on the inside. Essentially, the only thing you've got is some strategic taping around the chest entry or around stress points, but it's not the whole way through the suit. But that allows this suit for 5.3 to be 179 quid. So well under £200 for a winter wetsuit with good quality neoprene the whole way through is definitely a good option. And you do have a little toggle here as well. Not sure I think you've got a little zip pocket or key pocket on the inside there as well, but don't quote me on that. We'll have a look on the suit that we've turned inside out. But essentially that's the Dawn Patrol Performance, and as I say, coming up to summer, that's available in a 3.2, a 4.3, and then 5.3 still as well. And that sort of rolls the right way through to next year when there might be a few more changes. But if we then get Liam to grab the Dawn Patrol Warmth. So this is obviously the more expensive of the two suits, as held there beautifully by Liam. And basically the real reason becomes the lining, the neoprene itself is the same. It's the E5 neoprene. Obviously the biggest difference is the suit is fully taped through the inside and you're getting thermal lining. So if you want basically maximum insulation in the wetsuit and maximum heat retention, then you've got that sort of thermal lining. It's a mixture of two types of thermal lining. You've got the E5 flash dry lining, which is the really quick drying, deep pile, fluffy stuff. I'm going to grab a little technical cam so you have a close look again. And basically, that stuff is just that really fluffy material. It's non-absorbent, okay, and so which means it wicks water away from the centre of the core of the wetsuit and allows it to sort of go onto the tops of the fibres of the material, which means it dries really quickly, and it's also great at keeping heat inside of the wetsuit. And you get that the whole way through down to the knee on the front of the suit, and then we spin it around, and then basically getting it on the lumbar, on the lower back where your kidneys are, around the back of the suit. And then moving into the grey stuff, this is the more sort of the cheaper, basically, thermal lining that you can get. So when they're buying the technology, they sort of put the cheaper stuff through the rest of the suit, and basically this is the kind of stuff, the thermospan, that you get in as the sort of typical thermal lining on a cheaper end wetsuit. But it's still really fluffy, and it's still really good, and still really good at retaining heat inside the suit. We flip that round to the front, you get that around the crotch, and then you get that around the ankles as well. The reason they think they put it around the crotch is just a bit of an easier to make a taped sealed seam over the top of it, so it's less fluffy. It's easier to sort of seal that tape then basically. E5 taping the whole way through the suit, which is this stuff. It's just a really super stretchy material, flat tape, feels really nice against the skin, creates a good weld over the seam, and then obviously it's stitched on the outside as well, just to sort of double seal it in effect. And then we sort of move further up the suit. There's no thermal lining around the top or around the arms. You'd have to go to the flash bomb for that, or the heat seeker. And basically what that means is it's 3mm around the top here, and this is going to be the area which is going to give you the maximum amount of flexibility through the suit, and that's all that E5 neoprene, which is really, really good stuff. Okay, so that's essentially everything that's going on with the Dawn Patrol series for 2020, essentially. So it's changed in full 2019, then rolled on to this year, and it's in the 3.2s, which is typically what we stock in the UK for 2020, and then you've got the 4.3, which is like a spring or autumn suit as well. And it's essentially just to give you the option of, of a more budget suit. But if you want that high quality neoprene still, the same fit as a Dawn Patrol, if you fit well in a Rip Curl suit, and a good value, good stretchy wetsuit, fully sealed, but without breaking the bank, then you're going to be looking at the performance. But if you do start to feel the cold, if you're surfing in places where it's particularly cold, then you've got the option of the warmth, which is just sort of a fair bit more than £200, sort of sits just under mid 200, depending on the thickness. And that's going to basically give you all the benefits of that E5 neoprene, seamless panels, lots and lots of stretch, but you're also getting the fully taped wetsuit, and you're getting all of that thermal lining as well, and you get loads of that flash lining for just over 200 quid or under 250 quid. That's really good value for money, and the quality of the suit definitely this year is really good. The only downside, I'd say, with the Rip Curl suits, billabong the same as well, with the zipping from out to in is a bit of a pain, but again, if you did have that facility from in to out, then you'd be paying more money, so it's c'est la vie, as they say. Is that the right saying?
Yeah, I think so.
We'll say yes. Anyway, that's enough from the Wetsuit Centre for the Dawn Patrol series of wetsuits for fall 2019 into winter and summer 2020.